Hello dear students. Today we are going to start a new unit. Unit 3. Cell Structure and Functions. We have already studied 2 units and please mind it, this unit is very important. CBSE could not delete a single word from this unit. So you can understand how important is this unit. This unit is not only important for the next 2 units which will be studying in class 11, it is also very important for class 12. The biology of class 12 is very much dependent upon this unit. Also in chemistry, you will study a component of this unit. So till now, we have already studied about the taxonomy, where we studied the classification, grouping the organisms into different groups. Then in unit 2 we studied about the morphology and anatomy. But this unit is very important. Here we will be focusing on cell. There are 3 chapters in this unit. These chapters are chapter number 8, Cell, the unit of life, chapter 9, Biomolecules, and chapter 10, Cell cycle and cell division. We will be following the sequence. First we will do chapter number 8, then we will do chapter 10 followed by chapter number 9. Okay, so let's begin with chapter number 8. So let's begin with the chapter number 8. Now in this chapter, we will be studying all these topics, which are brief history of cell biology. We will study different types of cells. Then we will study about the prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. In today's lecture, I will deal all these 3 parts: brief history, types of cells, and prokaryotic cells. Whereas the eukaryotic cell I will take up in the next lecture. So let's begin. Now first of all, the study of the cell is called as cytology or cell biology. And this cell biology came into existence only in 19th century. Before that, nobody knew about it. So I have written few names who are the pioneers in cell biology. These are Robert Hooke, Anton von Leeuwenhoek, Robert Brown, Matthias Sliden, Theodor Schwann, and Rudolf Virchow. What did they do? Let's find out what was their contribution in cell biology. Today we all know that all living organisms are made up of cells. But this concept of cell came into existence only in 1665 when an English microscopist, Robert Hooke, observed a piece of cork under the microscope and found out that they are made up of honeycomb-like structures called cell. Later on, Anton von Leeuwenhoek developed the first compound microscope and observed a living cell. Later on, Robert Brown observed that there is some dense structure inside a cell which he called as nucleus. In 1838, a scientist called Sliden observed the plants and said that all different parts of the plants are made up of different types of cells. 1 year later, in 1839, Theodor Schwann also observed an animal cell and found out that there is a plasma membrane. He also compared a plant cell with animal cell and found out the plant cell also has some extra membrane which he called as cell wall. Together, they proposed the cell theory that all living organisms, plants and animals, are made up of cells and their products. Later on, in 1855, Rudolf Virchow gave a very famous statement, omnis cellula e cellula, which means that all new cells arise from pre-existing cells. So he modified the cell theory and it is called as the cell principle, which states that all living organisms are made up of cell and their products, and All new cells arise from pre-existing cells. So this was a brief history. Later on, with the invention of microscope, electron microscope, many other dimensions of the cells were studied. So today we know that cells are of different types. There are prokaryotic cells, there are eukaryotic cells, plant cells, animal cells, and there is such a range in the cell. Cells may be as small as zero point 0.1 micron as in case of mycoplasma, or they may be around 0.1 to 10 in case of RBCs, or they might be very large like 40 microns in case of nerve cells, neuron cells. Even the ostrich egg is a single cell which might be 17 centimeter in length and 14 centimeter in breadth. So along with the size, there is also so much of variations in the shapes of the cells. Cells may be of different shapes. They may be disc-like, or they may be star-like, they may be elongated. So there is such a vast variations of cells which we are going to study now. After studying the brief history of the cell, let us now take up the prokaryotic cells. As the name suggests, prokaryotic means primitive nucleus. So these are the very simple types of cells as seen in bacteria. We have already studied the bacteria kingdom Monera. Do you remember? So this is a very simple diagram of a prokaryotic cell where the nucleus is called as nucleoid. It does not have any nuclear envelope, and the proteins, that is histone proteins, are also absent. It is just made up of a circular chromosomal DNA. But apart from this, there is also one extra chromosomal DNA which is called as plasmid. Then there are no cell organelles. Cell organelles are not there. Only small 70S ribosomes are there. Also, if you see the structure, there is a cell envelope which is made up of 3 layers, that is cell wall and cell membrane. Apart from that, there is a glycocalyx, okay, with which I will tell you later on. Then there is mesosome, and there are certain inclusion bodies which may be in the form of granules. There may be gas vacuoles. We will study it in more detail now. After studying the diagram of the bacterial cell, now let us recapitulate it through a small animation. You can see this is a typical prokaryotic cell or a bacterial cell where there is a nucleoid, a primitive type of nucleus, which is suspended in the cytoplasm. The prokaryotic cell is quite simpler as compared to the eukaryotic cell. So where do you find this prokaryotic cell? We find it in kingdom Monera, which includes bacteria, blue-green algae, that is cyanobacteria, and the smallest cell, mycoplasma. Now, this bacterial cell may be of different shapes. You can see here, they may be rod shaped, that is bacillus, spherical or poker shaped, spiral, or comma shaped, that is vibrio. Let us focus into a typical rod shaped bacteria or bacillus. The outermost layers of the bacterial cell is called as envelope, cell envelope. This cell envelope is made up of 3 layers. The outermost layer is called as glycocalyx. Inner to glycocalyx is cell wall, and the innermost layer is plasma membrane. First, that is glycocalyx. It is protective in function. Its main function is to protect the bacteria from adverse conditions, and it also gives a kind of protection from antibiotics. So, the antibiotic resistance is produced in a bacteria with the help of this glycocalyx, which may be tough in the form of a layer called as a capsule, or it may be very soft mucilaginous structure called as a slime layer. Next to this glycocalyx is the cell wall, which gives shape to the cell and provides structural support to the cell. The cell wall of a prokaryotic cell is made up of peptidoglycan, but the arrangement of peptidoglycans may be in a different form. Here you can see Pseudomonas and Bacillus anthracis. These are two types of bacteria based on their cell wall. Let's first take Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas is called as gram-negative bacteria. Why? Because its cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. Along with the peptidoglycan, it has got quite large number of lipopolysaccharides and lipoproteins. So this Pseudomonas, when it is stained by gram stain and then washed by potassium iodide, it loses the gram stain and acquires only the safranin. Therefore, it is called as gram-negative bacteria. Whereas bacteria like Bacillus anthracis, their cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan and another chemical called as teichic acid. There is no lipopolysaccharide. So it retains the gram stain and does not lose it even if it is washed by potassium iodide. Therefore, it is called as a gram positive bacteria. Now next layer is plasma membrane, which is highly versatile, a selectively permeable membrane, and is responsible for all types of transportation across the plasma membrane. Because bacterial cell or prokaryotic cells are very simple, they do not have any type of cell organelles. This plasma membrane at various places is folded into structures called as mesosomes. These mesosomes perform different types of functions. They are the different types of cell organelles in some way. Let us see what are the functions performed by mesosomes. So the functions which these mesosomes performed are, first it helps in the formation of cell wall. It also has got respiratory enzymes for the process of respiration. All secretions are done by these mesosomes only. Expansion of the surface area of plasma membrane and enzymatic content is present in mesosomes. Even the replication of DNA and distribution of DNA to daughter cells is done by mesosomes. So these blue-green algae, they are photosynthetic prokaryotes. They do not have any chloroplast, but they have got photosynthetic lamellae, which has got photosynthetic pigments. The prokaryotes have the ability to move also. They may have one or many flagella. These flagella are long whip-like structures. If you see the structure of the flagellum, the base of the flagellum has got a hook, here you can see, and a basal body. Even the cilia has got the similar structure. Apart from the flagellum, it also has got certain outgrowths which may be called as pili or fimbriae. These pili are made up of a specific protein called as pilin. They give a characteristic feature to the bacteria. Even there are certain pili which are responsible for sexual reproduction. Fimbriae are also helping in attaching to the host surface. So these flagella, cilia, pili and fimbriae, these are the outgrowths present in the bacterial or prokaryotic cell. Now we come to the most important part, which is the innermost genetic material, that is genomic DNA. Because there is no plasma, no nuclear membrane, this DNA is present and suspended in the cytoplasm. Apart from the genomic DNA, there is some other DNA which is called as plasmid, which is called as extra chromosomal DNA. So this genomic DNA controls all the activities along with the plasmids. Apart from that, it also has got certain types of particles which are called as ribosomes. The ribosomes present in prokaryotic cells are 70S, which are made up of 30S and 50S subunits. This S stands for the Swedberg's unit, which stands for the sedimentation coefficient. It is indirectly a measure of density and size of ribosomes. These ribosomes help in protein synthesis. Along with the mRNA, many ribosomes, they form a linear structure called as polyribosome or polysome. Their main function is for the protein synthesis. Apart from these ribosomes, there are certain other substances which are called as inclusion bodies. These inclusion bodies may be different types of protein granules or lipid granules or oil bodies, which gives a specific characteristic to a particular prokaryotic cell. There are certain structures which are also called as gas vacuoles or contractile vacuoles. These help the bacteria to move or for the cytoplasmic movements. Okay, so this is the structure of a prokaryotic cell. Hope you have understood the structure and the machinery of the prokaryotic cell. So today we have studied the brief history of the cell biology and a detailed study of prokaryotic cell. Eukaryotic cell I will take up in the next lecture, where we will study each and every part of the cell, that is cell organelle, in detail. Thank you very much.